Ethan and Claire Morgan had been married for 11 years, living in a quiet, tree-lined neighborhood in Raleigh, North Carolina. From the outside, they looked like the perfect American family. 2 kids, a golden retriever named Max, a cozy colonial-style home with white shutters and a front porch swing. Ethan was a project manager at a tech company. His days were long, but he always made time for Sunday pancakes with the kids and movie nights with Claire. Their love story had started in college. He was the shy engineering student. She was the bright, free-spirited art major who made every day feel like an adventure. Over the years, life had settled into a routine, but he still thought of her as his best friend. But lately, things had started to change. It began with small things. Claire started dressing up more, even for casual errands. She bought new perfumes and was suddenly obsessed with skincare. She smiled more when she looked at her phone, but quickly flipped the screen down whenever Ethan walked into the room. Then came the yoga classes. Twice a week, she would leave after dinner in her workout clothes, mat in hand, and say she'd be home by 10. At first, Ethan didn't think much of it. She'd always been into fitness. But something about the way she left, with her phone clutched tightly in her hand, always freshly showered and perfectly made up, didn't feel like yoga. One Thursday evening, Ethan's meeting at work was canceled, and he decided to surprise Claire by picking her up from class. He thought it would be a sweet gesture, maybe grab ice cream together on the way home. But when he pulled into the yoga studio parking lot, his heart sank. The lights inside were off. The lot was empty except for a single dusty sedan parked in the corner. Definitely not her car. He checked his watch. It was 8:15 p.m. Class should have been in full swing. That's when something told him to open the Find My Family app on his phone, the one they both used to track the kids when they were at friends' houses. Her location pinged. Downtown. Not the yoga studio, not anywhere near it. The little dot on the map pulsed over a hotel. The upscale Westbrook Suites, the kind of place business travelers stayed. Ethan's pulse quickened. He sat in his truck for a full minute, gripping the steering wheel so hard his knuckles went white. Every part of him wanted to turn around and go home, to pretend he hadn't seen it. But his legs moved before his brain caught up. He drove downtown, parking a block away from the hotel. The lobby smelled faintly of lemon polish and expensive cologne. A couple laughed near the elevator. And then he saw her, Claire. She was wearing the same black leggings and gray hoodie she had left the house in, the yoga outfit. But her hair was freshly curled, her makeup flawless. And she wasn't alone. Standing next to her was Mark. Mark, his best friend since high school, the man who'd been his groomsman at their wedding, the one Ethan had trusted enough to leave alone with his kids. Mark had his hand on the small of her back, leaning in to whisper something. Claire laughed softly, a laugh Ethan hadn't heard from her in months. They turned toward the elevator together. Ethan's heart pounded so loudly it drowned out the sound of the lobby. He fumbled his phone out of his pocket and snapped a photo. The click of the camera was like a gunshot in his ears. He didn't confront them. He didn't want a scene in the middle of a hotel lobby. He turned and walked out into the cold night, every step heavier than the last. When Claire came home that night at 10:45 p.m., Max barked excitedly, but Ethan stayed seated at the kitchen table. He'd been sitting there for over an hour, the photo pulled up on his laptop. "Hey, babe," she said casually, hanging her coat on the chair. "Sorry I'm late, traffic was—" Ethan turned the laptop toward her. The photo glowed in the warm light. Claire's smile froze. Ethan, I can explain," she stammered. "Don't," he said quietly, his voice calm but edged with steel. "You made your choice." She sank into the chair opposite him, tears already filling her eyes. "It's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," he said, his voice breaking for the first time. "You've been lying to me for months. And with him, my best friend?" The conversation that followed was messy, painful and full of half-truths. She claimed it had just happened, that she felt lonely, unappreciated. He told her that nothing justified betrayal. For days after, the house felt like a war zone. They slept in separate rooms. Friends began calling, whispering that they'd heard rumors. The kids noticed something was wrong, asking why Mom and Dad weren't eating dinner together.